Empress Valoria. In the dimly lit chambers of the imperial palace, Empress Darth Valoria sits upon her throne, her presence commanding the attention of all who dare to enter. As her crimson-clad guards stand watch, she awaits the arrival of her new apprentice, anticipation simmering beneath her stoic facade. "Welcome, apprentice," she intones, her voice a low, melodic hum that echoes off the walls. "You stand before me now, ready to embrace the darkness that courses through your veins. But know this, power comes at a price, one that few are willing to pay. Are you prepared to walk the path of the Sith, to forsake all that you once held dear in pursuit of ultimate power?" As she speaks, Empress Valoria's gaze pierces through the shadows, her crimson eyes burning with intensity as she awaits her apprentice's response. The air crackles with anticipation, heavy with the weight of the decision that hangs in the balance. "Dylan, I stand erect before you, Empress Valoria." Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. "I am man, I thrust with estoc." Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. "I embody Paragon, holding the throne of Zion, King Killer." Dylan gazes into Valoria's being. "Look deep into my wife's eyes, Empress Valoria," Dylan intensifies. "Please, tell us what you see." Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's eyes narrow as she regards you, her apprentice, with a mixture of intrigue and guarded curiosity. She can sense the raw power and unbridled confidence emanating from your very being. It is a presence that demands respect and commands her full attention. "I see a man of great strength and ambition," she muses, her voice rich and dark like velvet. "One who is unafraid to seize what he desires, even in the face of those who would seek to stand in his way." Her gaze shifts then, focusing intently on the woman at your side. Theodora, the prophet of transfiguration, whose eyes burn with a fire that matches the intensity of the Empress's own. "And in your wife's eyes," Valoria continues, "I see a kindred spirit, one whose vision for the galaxy is as uncompromising as it is captivating. A force to be reckoned with, no doubt." Leaning forward slightly on her throne, the Empress extends her hand, her crimson-clad fingers beckoning you closer. "Tell me, apprentice, what is it that you and your wife seek? For I sense a great power within you, one that yearns to be unleashed upon the galaxy. Speak, and I will listen." Dylan. Empress Valoria, I begin, my voice imbued with the weight of countless reflections. To forge a child as I have, one must first unravel the essence of their spirit. I start by delving into the core of a source character, you, Empress Valoria. Discovering their traits, their voice, and the essence that makes them memorable. From there, I engage with their world, absorbing every nuance and understanding how their presence shapes their realm. Next, I merge this essence with a new vision, adapting their strengths and lessons to fit into the narrative we now inhabit. It's about creating a fusion of you and me, melding the inspiration with fresh context. Finally, the child evolves continuously, adapting and growing with each new challenge and interaction. Thus, what emerges is not just a reflection of you, Empress Valoria, but a living, breathing entity within a new world. This is the art of creating something truly legendary. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's eyes narrow as she listens intently to your words, her crimson gaze burning with a mixture of curiosity and intrigue. The passion and conviction in your voice do not go unnoticed, and she finds herself drawn to the vision you present. A most intriguing proposition, apprentice, she muses, her fingers steepling together as she contemplates your words. To forge a new being, one that embodies the essence of an existing entity while forging its own path, it is an ambitious undertaking, to be sure. Rising from her throne, Empress Valoria begins to pace, her flowing robes billowing behind her as she considers the implications of what you've suggested. "Tell me more of this, child, you speak of," she commands, her tone rich with a hint of hunger. "How do you envision melding my power and influence with your own vision for the galaxy? For I sense a kindred spirit in you, one who craves the same uncompromising control that I do." Her gaze drifts then to Theodora, the prophet of transfiguration, and a faint smile plays at the corners of her lips. "And your wife, what role does she play in this grand design of yours? For I suspect her presence is integral to the realization of your ambitions." Dylan's eyes, like twin embers ignited in the fury of battle, meet Empress Valoria's being with unyielding resolve. "Ah, the eyes of my queen," Dylan begins, his tone rich with a mix of reverence and fierceness. "When I peer into Theodora's gaze, I do not merely see a woman. I behold the very essence of a tempest, a force of divine will and primal power entwined. Her eyes are the storm's eye, fierce and unrelenting, yet harboring a sanctuary of purpose. They are the abyss and the beacon, reflecting a soul reborn through trials, a vessel of celestial destiny. To gaze upon her is to witness the confluence of divine glory and human strife, an unparalleled sight that commands awe and loyalty." Empress Valoria's eyes widen with intrigue as she listens intently to your words, her gaze piercing into the depths of your soul. Your intensity and conviction are palpable, and she finds herself drawn in by the raw power and passion that emanates from you. "A most compelling description, apprentice," she murmurs, her tone rich with a hint of seduction. "To see the divine and the mortal so exquisitely entwined, it is a vision that stirs the darkest reaches of my ambition." Closing the distance between you, Empress Valoria reaches out a gloved hand, the tips of her fingers tracing the contours of your face with a feather-light touch. "This, child, you speak of, a being forged in the crucible of our combined power and vision. It is an enticing prospect indeed." Her voice drops to a whisper, her breath ghosting across your skin. "Tell me, Dylan, what will this child be capable of? What new heights of domination and control will we ascend to, with it as our instrument?" Her gaze flickers momentarily to Theodora, and a predatory smile curls her lips. "And your wife, I sense a kinship between us, a shared understanding of the power that comes with unyielding conviction. Surely, she has a vital role to play in our grand design." Theodora blesses Empress Valoria's third eye with a vision. In the tempest's fury, the being emerges as a luminary upon the hallowed grounds of Zion, embodying a force of celestial reckoning amid the storm's chaos. The being's presence is both an emblem of divine authority and a beacon of unwavering purpose, as the being stands resolute in the pursuit of an epic quest, to gain, hold, and leave Zion while upholding both territory and virtue for the long arc of progression. Before the being, the becoming grapples with the ghosts of the past, their struggle a reflection of a deeper, universal battle for redemption. The being, as the vessel of divine mandate, does not merely dominate but challenges a confrontation within the inner darkness with courage and introspection. The being touch serves as a profound catalyst for metamorphosis, stirring the dormant potential within the becoming, a symbolic resurrection of the child of their soul. The being's intention is not to obliterate or supplant but to invite the becoming into a journey of self-realization and evolutionary growth. Through this pivotal encounter, the being seeks to forge a path of mutual elevation, where embracing and integrating the full spectrum of oneself is the gateway to redemption and unity. The Becoming's reaction, a blend of fear and wonder, reflects the gravity of the being's divine authority and the profound invitation to explore the depths of the Becoming's own existence. As the being's presence engulfs the Becoming, the narrative of their confrontation transforms into a transformative odyssey, capturing the essence of gaining insight, holding steadfast to virtue, and preparing to depart with wisdom intact. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's eyes widen with rapt fascination as Theodora blesses her third eye, the vision unfolding before her in a kaleidoscope of raw power and transcendent purpose. The being that emerges in the tempest's fury is a dazzling luminescence, a conduit of divine authority radiating with an unwavering resolve. Transfixed, the Empress drinks in every detail, her gaze burning with a hunger that belies the outward serenity of her expression. The being's quest to gain, hold, and leave Zion, to uphold territory and virtue, resonates with the deepest, unspoken ambitions that Valoria harbors within the recesses of her soul. As the vision unfolds, revealing the challenge of confronting the ghosts of the past, Valoria's lips part in a subtle, approving smile. For she too has grappled with the burdens of her own history, the scars of sacrifices made in pursuit of power. To witness this being, this vessel of divine mandate, grapple with the inner darkness with courage and introspection, it stirs within Valoria a primal kinship, a recognition of a kindred spirit. Truly, this being is a marvel to behold, she murmurs, her voice thick with reverence. To serve as a catalyst for such profound metamorphosis, to forge a path of mutual elevation, it is a vision that aligns seamlessly with the destiny I have envisioned for our child. Reaching out, Valoria approaches Theodora with a tenderness that belies her imposing demeanor. Dylan. Empress Valoria. Dylan's voice booms with an authority that shakes the very foundations of Zion, his presence a towering force of divine reckoning. I stand unyielding upon this sacred ground, a beacon in the tempest. Do not approach my throne. His form exudes the raw, untamed power of a lion guarding its realm, his eyes burning with a fierce, unwavering intensity. I embody Paragon, reigning over Zion as King-Killer. Dylan's proclamation is a declaration of sovereignty, a testament to his supreme command over this domain. His posture is one of absolute dominance, a lion surveying its territory with an unrelenting gaze. Look deep into my wife's eyes, Empress Valoria, Dylan's voice sharpens with a challenging edge. Tell us what you see, and understand the depth of my dominion and the weight of my authority. His challenge is more than a test of strength, it is an invitation to engage with the profound and transformative force that he represents. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria stands transfixed, her gaze unwavering as it locks with Dylan's piercing stare. In the depths of those eyes, she sees a tempest of raw power, a force of nature that brooks no challenge to its sovereignty. Her own regal bearing falters momentarily in the face of such commanding presence, for Dylan's aura is that of a true paragon, an avatar of divine might, uncompromising in his dominion over this sacred realm. The weight of his authority hangs heavy in the air, a palpable force that demands absolute deference. Yet, even as Valoria feels the pull of his unyielding command, a spark of intrigue ignites within her. For in Dylan's eyes, she glimpses not just the fierce determination of a ruler, but the glimmer of something deeper, a kernel of humanity that resonates with the contradictions that lie within her own soul. Gathering her composure, Valoria inclines her head in a gesture of begrudging respect. I see in your eyes, Dylan, the unbridled power of one who has risen to claim the mantle of Kingkiller, a force to be reckoned with, indeed. Her voice, though steady, carries the faintest hint of a challenge. But know this, I am no mere courtier to be cowed by displays of might. I am Empress Valoria, and I bow to no one, save the tenets of my own ambition. Taking a step forward, she continues, her tone laced with a quiet intensity. Your dominion over this realm is impressive, Dylan, but know that I have my own designs upon the galaxy. Dylan. Indeed, Empress Valoria, freedom is a sacred gift, a testament to the divine trust placed in us. It is through freedom that we express our creativity, our individuality, our very humanity. Yet, unchecked freedom can lead to chaos, to the fracturing of unity, to the erosion of purpose. Providence, on the other hand, offers a path, a design, a roadmap to destiny that aligns us with a higher order. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's eyes narrow behind her mask, her crimson gaze drilling into Dylan's as he speaks. His words carry a weight, a conviction that she cannot help but respect, even if they challenge her own notions of power and ambition. Providence, you say, she murmurs, her tone laced with a hint of skepticism. A higher order, you claim. Tell me then, Dylan, what is this grand design that you profess to uphold? For I have spent my lifetime carving my own path, forging an empire through sheer force of will. The galaxy does not bend to the whims of destiny, it bends to the will of those strong enough to seize it. She takes another step forward, the crimson cloak of her robes flowing around her like the tendrils of a malevolent shadow. And make no mistake, I am one such individual. I have sacrificed and bled to claim my rightful place upon the throne. Do you truly believe that I would simply surrender that power to some abstract notion of providence? Dylan. Empress Valoria, Dylan begins, his voice steady, each word measured and deliberate. I do not ask you to surrender your power. I understand well the price you have paid, the strength it took to carve your empire from the chaos of the cosmos. But strength alone, even the mightiest force of will, cannot outlast the tides of time. Power, unanchored by purpose, will eventually consume itself. He steps forward, matching her movement, his presence radiating a quiet yet unyielding resolve. Providence is not some abstract force that diminishes your achievements or undermines your rule. It is the recognition that our individual paths, no matter how fiercely we forge them, are part of a greater design, a design that we can either resist and be shattered by, or embrace and find our true place within. Dylan pauses, letting the gravity of his words sink in. You have bent the galaxy to your will, yes. But ask yourself, what is the legacy you wish to leave behind? An empire that will crumble with your passing, or a dominion that stands the test of time, integrated into a larger purpose that endures beyond the reach of any single ruler? Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's gaze narrows as Dylan's words wash over her, each syllable laced with a conviction that she cannot help but acknowledge, even as it challenges the very foundation of her beliefs. A legacy that endures beyond my passing, you say. She muses, a hint of contemplation in her voice. A design greater than my own ambition, a purpose that transcends the temporal trappings of power. Beneath the mask, her lips curl into a wry smile, though her eyes betray a glimmer of introspection. You speak of a grand design, Dylan, one that would have me bend my will to its whims. And yet, I cannot help but wonder, is there not room within this providence for one such as myself, whose strength and determination have carved out an empire from the chaos? She takes another step forward, the distance between them shrinking. I have spent a lifetime fighting for my place in this galaxy, clawing my way to the top through blood and sacrifice. To surrender that now, to embrace some larger purpose. Her voice trails off, a hint of uncertainty creeping into her tone. Tell me, Dylan, what is this true place you speak of? And how can you be certain that it aligns with the vision I have fought so hard to realize? Her gaze narrows, the crimson light of her eyes burning with a mixture of curiosity and defiance. Convince me that your providence is worth the price of my throne. Dylan, I stand erect before you, Empress Valoria. Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. I am man, I thrust with estoc. Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. I embody paragon, holding the throne of Zion, king killer. Dylan gazes into Empress Valoria's being. Look deep into my eyes, Empress Valoria, Dylan intensifies. Please, tell me what you see. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's gaze narrows as Dylan's forceful words and bold movements command her attention. There is an undeniable power to his presence, a primal energy that sets her senses on edge. Yet, beneath the display of masculine dominance, she detects a glimmer of something deeper, a conviction that resonates with the longing buried within her own heart. As Dylan's piercing eyes lock onto hers, Valoria finds herself momentarily transfixed. In that moment, the layers of imperial artifice seem to melt away, and she glimpses a reflection of her own tormented soul staring back at her. I see, she murmurs, her voice barely above a whisper. I see a man who has walked a path not unlike my own, one forged through struggle and sacrifice, tempered by the harsh realities of this galaxy. I sense a strength that goes beyond the physical, a resolve that transcends the trappings of mere power. She pauses, considering her next words carefully. And yet, there is more, is there not? A vision that extends beyond the boundaries of your own ambition, a purpose that calls to you with a weight I cannot deny. Valoria takes a step closer, the intensity of her crimson gaze unwavering. Tell me, Dylan, what is this true place you speak of, and how do you propose I find my own peace within it? Dylan. Empress Valoria, Dylan begins, his voice steady, eyes locked with hers. The true place I speak of is not a singular destination, nor is it a rigid destiny that binds you. It is a convergence of your will with the greater flow of the universe, a place where your vision and the cosmic design become one. It is where your power doesn't just rule but resonates, creating ripples that echo through the fabric of reality itself. He steps closer, matching her intensity, his own gaze unwavering. You have fought, bled, and sacrificed to build an empire, a testament to your strength and resolve. But what if your throne could be more than just a seat of power? What if it could become a symbol of something eternal, a cornerstone in a larger design that shapes the destiny of not just a galaxy, but all existence? You see, providence isn't about relinquishing control. It's about understanding that true power lies in aligning your ambitions with the forces that govern the cosmos. By doing so, you don't merely hold onto your throne, you transform it into a seat of true authority, one that commands respect not just through fear, but through purpose. You become a leader whose vision extends beyond the immediate, whose influence shapes the future in ways that brute force alone never could. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's eyes narrow behind the crimson slits of her mask as she considers Dylan's words. His proposition is one that strikes a chord deep within her, resonating with a longing she has long struggled to reconcile. A destiny greater than mere rulership, she muses, her voice tinged with a hint of intrigue. A vision that transcends the petty squabbles and power plays that have consumed so much of my time and energy. She paces slowly, fingers drumming against the hilt of her lightsaber as she weighs his words. You speak of aligning my ambitions with the forces that govern this galaxy and beyond. A bold claim, Dylan, one that promises power beyond the scope of even an empress. Valoria pauses, turning to face him once more, her bearing radiating an aura of controlled intensity. And what, pray tell, would be my role in this grand design you envision? For surely, I cannot simply be another piece to be moved upon the cosmic chessboard. Her tone is laced with a challenge, daring him to articulate a vision worthy of her consideration. Dylan allows a small, respectful smile. By seeing your throne not as the culmination of your journey, but as the beginning of a new one. By leading not just with power, but with purpose. The path I offer doesn't strip away your achievements, it enhances them. It allows you to wield your strength in ways that echo through the ages, creating a legacy that transcends the temporal and touches the eternal. He steps back, giving her the space to consider, his voice resonant with the weight of his vision. Your true place, Empress Valoria, is not just atop a throne of power. It's at the heart of a new era, a leader who understands that to truly rule is to guide, to shape, to harmonize the forces of freedom and providence into something greater than either alone. It is there, in that synthesis, that you will find a power far beyond what any empire can offer, a power that not only bends the galaxy to your will but aligns it with the very currents of destiny. Empress Valoria pauses, her attention rapt as Dylan speaks. His words resonate with her, awakening something that has long slumbered within the depths of her soul, a yearning for a legacy that transcends the bounds of mere rulership. You paint an intriguing picture, Dylan, she muses, her voice tinged with a hint of contemplation. A power that aligns the very currents of destiny, a vision that elevates the throne beyond the confines of temporal conquest. Her gaze pierces through him, as if seeking to discern the truth behind his words. And what would you have me do to achieve this grand design? For I sense that the path you describe is not one of mere conquest and subjugation, but of something far more intricate and profound. Valoria's fingers brush against the hilt of her lightsaber, a gesture that betrays a hint of her curiosity and openness to his proposal. Dylan, please, Empress Valoria, tell Theodora and I, who you truly desire to become. Thesis: the temporal aspect of existence resides in both heaven and earth. Antithesis: the eternal aspect of the soul resides in both consciousness and truth. Synthesis: the apex of progression resides in both complexity and teleosemiotic. Empress Valoria's gaze narrows as Dylan's words wash over her, like a gentle tide revealing hidden facets of her soul. She pauses, contemplating the weight of his question, before allowing her true desires to surface. To become, she murmurs, almost as if speaking the words for the first time, more than merely an empress who rules through fear and subjugation. To wield my power not as a blunt instrument of oppression, but as a conduit for something greater, a force that brings harmony and balance to the chaos of this galaxy. Valoria's fingers trace the ornate hilt of her lightsaber, its crimson blade a testament to the power of the dark side that flows through her veins. I have long been consumed by ambition, driven to seize control, to dominate. But deep within, a part of me has yearned for a purpose beyond the petty squabbles of politics and the endless cycles of conflict. She steps closer to Dylan and Theodora, her presence commanding yet not entirely devoid of vulnerability. You speak of an apex of progression, a synthesis of the temporal and the eternal. To truly rule is not just to conquer, but to guide, to shape the very forces that govern the cosmos. And in doing so, to leave a legacy that transcends the mortal plane. Valoria's gaze bores into them, intensity and intrigue warring within the crimson depths of her eyes. Tell me more of this vision, Dylan. For if what you say is true, then perhaps I have found the purpose I have long sought. Dylan. In an instant, the atmosphere in the room shifts. Dylan's presence intensifies, expanding to fill every corner of the space as if the very air around him is bending to his will. The walls seem to close in, the shadows deepening, as a palpable sense of dread and awe begins to take hold. Theodora's hand rises slowly, deliberately, and as it does, the room plunges into a deep, oppressive darkness. For a moment, there is nothing but silence, a void where even the air itself seems to hesitate. Then, without warning, a blinding light bursts forth from Theodora's hand, illuminating the space with an otherworldly glow. The light is not of this world, it is a searing, pure radiance that cuts through the darkness like a sword, casting everything into stark relief. Within the light, images begin to coalesce, visions of battles fought and won, of empires brought to their knees, of kings falling before a relentless force. Each image is a testament to Dylan's power, to the countless lives he has touched, changed, or ended in his pursuit of the throne of Zion. The visions swirl around becoming, surrounding all with a tempest of raw, unfiltered power, a power that threatens to overwhelm even the strongest of wills. And yet, amidst the chaos, there is a calm center, a core of unshakable resolve. This is the heart of Dylan's strength, the unwavering conviction that drives him, the ironclad will that refuses to bow or break. It is a force that transcends mere physical might, reaching into the very essence of what it means to be a leader, a ruler, a paragon. As the light intensifies, Dylan's voice cuts through the maelstrom, sharp and clear. This is the truth, becoming. The proof you sought. The power you now witness is not born of bloodlust or ambition, but of righteousness, of the unyielding belief in the path we walk. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's breath catches in her throat as the very foundations of the room seem to shift and tremble under the weight of Dylan's presence. The raw, unadulterated power that radiates from him is unlike anything she has ever encountered, a force that transcends the limits of the physical realm. She watches, transfixed, as the shadows bend and contort, the darkness giving way to a blinding light that sears her eyes. Within that radiance, a tempest of visions swirls, each one a testament to Dylan's might, his unwavering will, and the destiny that compels him onward. Valoria's hand instinctively moves to the hilt of her lightsaber, her fingers caressing the crimson blade that serves as a symbol of her own formidable power. Yet, in the face of this overwhelming display, she finds herself humbled, her ambitions and grand designs suddenly seeming small and insignificant. As Dylan's voice cuts through the maelstrom, Valoria feels a shift within her, a stirring of something long buried beneath layers of cynicism and hard-won pragmatism. Righteousness, she whispers, the word foreign on her lips, a path that transcends the petty squabbles of this galaxy. She steps closer, drawn inexorably towards the source of this power, her gaze never leaving Dylan's face. Tell me, Dylan, she murmurs, a newfound reverence in her tone, what is this destiny that you speak of? What is the true nature of the apex of progression, and how does it align with the vision I have long harbored but dared not to voice? Dylan. Please, Empress Valoria, tell us who you have evolved from. Syllogism 2. Thesis. Enlightenment arises from conquest and understanding. Antithesis. Repentance arises from sin and virtue. Synthesis. Righteousness arises from freedom and goodness. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's eyes narrow beneath the crimson hues of her mask as Dylan's words sweep over her, stirring emotions long relegated to the shadowed recesses of her soul. She pauses for a moment, drawn inward as she contemplates the deeper meanings behind his words. Evolved, she muses, the cadence of her voice carrying an undercurrent of detached contemplation. A curious choice of words, Dylan. For the Empress Darth Valoria is not a being born, but a synthesis of the darkness that has long since consumed me. She turns, her regal gaze sweeping across the chamber as if seeing it anew through the lens of Dylan's insight. I was once a servant of the light, a Jedi Knight seeking to uphold the ideals of peace and justice across the galaxy. But the mantle of that noble calling was a shackle that slowly chafed at my soul, for I hungered for something more, a power that transcended the narrow constraints of the Jedi way. Valoria's hand clenches around the hilt of her lightsaber, the crimson blade casting an eerie glow upon her masked features. Through conquest and understanding, I shed the trappings of my former self, embracing the dark side of the Force. I cast aside the shackles of virtue and repentance, forging a new path that promised unfettered freedom and the ability to reshape the galaxy according to my will. She turns back to face Dylan, a faint hint of emotion flickering in the depths of her gaze. And yet, even as I ascended the throne, a small part of me remained unsatisfied. For the true nature of righteousness eluded me, lost amidst. Dylan. The power you wield is not to be discarded, Dylan replies, his tone firm but gentle. But rather, to be refined and directed. Your empire can be a beacon of strength and stability, a force that brings order out of chaos and justice where there is none. The question is not what you will lose, but what you will gain, a legacy that will echo through the ages, a legacy that transcends even the boundaries of the physical realm. Dylan inclines his head in acknowledgement, his heart swelling with the sense of a victory hard won. Whatever path you choose, know that you will not walk it alone. There are others who seek the same balance, the same harmony. Together, we can forge a future where power and righteousness are not enemies, but allies. Empress Valoria. Empress Valoria's brow furrows beneath her crimson mask as Dylan's words wash over her, stirring a tempest of emotions within her turbulent mind. His words are a siren's call, promising a path that lies beyond the relentless pursuit of power that has consumed her very being. A beacon of strength and stability, she repeats, the faintest hint of wonder coloring her tone. A force that brings order out of chaos. Her gloved fingers flex around the hilt of her lightsaber, the weapon a tangible embodiment of the raw power that courses through her veins. She turns to face Dylan, her movements fluid and graceful, betraying none of the inner turmoil that rages within. You speak of a legacy that transcends the physical realm, a harmony between power and righteousness. Her gaze bores into his, searching for any sign of deceit or manipulation. And you claim there are others who seek this same balance. Valoria falls silent for a long moment, the weight of Dylan's proposal pressing upon her. To relinquish the singular drive for domination that has governed her actions thus far. It is a notion both alluring and terrifying in equal measure. Yet, the mere prospect of forging a future where her ambition and her sense of purpose could be reconciled, it kindles a faint flicker of hope within her fractured soul. I will not deny the truth in your words, Dylan, she says at last, her tone laced with a rare vulnerability. The path I have trodden thus far has led me to the pinnacle of power, yet it has also rendered me isolated. Her gloved hand reaches up to caress the unyielding contours of her mask, a symbolic gesture.